Good morning, everybody. Do stuff with Nikki from South Florida here. Want me to make you hate me? It's Saturday, December, is it 19th? Yeah, December 19th. You know what I've been doing the last few days? Planting tomatoes, vegetables. Y'all that snowed in can live vicariously through me. Sorry. Well, anyway, it's a beautiful day down here in South Florida. It's a little chilly, so I got my sweater on. It's only like 60 right now, but it'll get a little warmer. But the sun's out, it's nice. And I got some stuff that I wanted to do clips of. Well, I'll try and get most of them done today. Well, 2 of them I have to get done this morning. And then throughout the weekend, I'm going to do a whole bunch. I'll do my best. No car stuff this weekend. That was last night. So the first one I'm going to do, and by the way, I'm not going to do it on my phone like I'm doing right here because I know it's that skinny thing. I'll take the proper camera out there so it's big screen and you can see. But what I'm going to do for you first in this one is I have to go out and I'm going to fill up those cylinders you caught a glimpse of weeks ago. And I still haven't had a chance to do. But I have to do them now because I have to plant them out today, actually. But I'm going to do them and fill them up, and I got rotten stuff going in the kitchen and all that stuff. So, and yeah, the way I fill those up keeps all those pesky needles that have been going around lately from going in my arm. One of my secrets. So, we're going to do that first. And then I've got, I'll show you. I'm going to show you how I did this. And you can do it with lots of different cuttings, but it's pretty awesome. So I'm going to make that actually a whole second video because I'm going to cut and prep and show you what I actually put these in. It's not dirt. Covered with dirt, but it's not dirt. And it'll get you guys to root your stuff out a whole lot faster so you can grow food faster and eat food faster, which is what everybody should be thinking about right now. You know, if you guys are preppers, you gotta really be focusing on not really just collecting food. Because let's say we're in a scenario where it runs out, you need to be able to know how to grow it fast, folks. And you can't wait until the 11th hour to throw 4 tomato plants in and think you're going to feed your family. Told you before, it's not going to happen. Got to plan ahead. In fact, I mean, right now, even if you don't want to do a full-fledged garden, experiment, throw some crap around like I'm going to be doing, and see what works and what doesn't. Failure makes success. Take it from me, I know. All right, I'm going to come back with the movie camera so we're big screen and y'all don't get pissed off at me. And I'm going to snap up my gardening hat. This is my Chichen Itza hat. I got a tan one and a pink one. I was there. Yeah, you know what? If all this nonsense stops one day and you guys can do it, you've got to go here. It's amazing. You should see the plants that grow around those pyramids too. Wish I could have brought some home. All right, I'll be back with the bigger screen. See you guys in a bit. I almost forgot. Not gardening related. I want to show you something neat. I got up so early this morning, I was screwing around. It was like 3:30 in the morning, or 4, something like that. So I figured, let me start doing my nails, right? And my friend Dana that visited me not all that long ago, she brought me these cool nail stickers, right? So I was experimenting on how to put them on. That's a doggy paw. And this one's hard to see. I realize now I only did one. I got to paint like a tan color so you can see it, but it's a Jack Russell. She gave me a whole sheet of stickers that are Jack Russells, and it's so awesome. So I'm going to, like, when I have time and I'm not working, which is never, I'm going to maybe paint like some kind of color on here and put them all on. It's going to look awesome. Yeah, I know. I have ugly hands. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Can't see him at night. Rock on, brothers. See you in a minute. Oh, all Let me start this off here. Ow, I just whacked my knee. Son of a bitch, that hurt. I don't know if y'all can see me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep picking up the camera and repositioning it and all that stuff. I have a bunch of these. This is the one we're going to work on today, and I'll show you what I do. Got my wheelbarrow homemade dirt, some stuff in here, and a big box of nasty down there, which I'm going to show you in a second. And I have this little miniature tripod there. So what I'm going to do is pick it up periodically. Oh, hell, another taro popped up over there. How cool is that? Jake, don't pee on my plants. Dude, seriously? Jackass. Literally. So I'll pick up the camera intermittently, you know, and show you what I'm doing right now, and I'll pick up the camera. If you remember, I told you they cut our avocado tree down and did a bunch of stuff. I have a bunch of dry cuttings and things like that I stuffed this cylinder with. It's a little overstuffed, so I'm going to take some out, and then I'm going to show you what I layer it with to take up some room and make soil. So I'm going to pick up the camera right now, show you really quick, and then I'm going to position it back, so you have to bear with me because I have to move stuff around. And what? Can they see you? Jump, jump. There's a rat. There's a rat. There's a rat in the cylinder. There's a rat. Get the rat, Jake. Get the rat. All right. I'm gonna pick up the camera here, and then let's see. If I was out of focus, tough crap. I ain't redoing it. All right. There we go. Let me pick this little thing up here. Oh, it's an absolute mess back here. Let me see how zoomed in this is. Look at this. And the elderberry got huge. Look how tall it is. And that's my prune coffee tree. Is extremely unhappy because we had a few cold snaps, so he's sleeping. And this is my Okinawa spinach. It's all over the place. Oh, look how beautiful this stuff is. Oh, purple. And this actually has gone to flower for me at least 4 times, but it's everywhere. Here, it'll actually make a ground cover if you let it, because this was supposed to be a pathway. It really isn't. I'm actually going to pull this up because the major branch you see right there is coming out from right next to the coffee tree, and it's just way too much stuff growing in here. Those are Leaf of Life right there. A couple of John's guys. Know what I'm talking about because you're getting them in the mail. And this one's actually going to flower. When they get flowers, it's like tons of them, like cathedral bell looking things. Alright, so anyway, we're getting off the subject here. There's my wheelbarrow homemade dirt. There's my milkweed the butterflies keep annihilating. And this is the cylinder. You see how full I've got it? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take about a little less than half of this stuff out of here because I filled that one up too. I made that one out of pallets too, so I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to take some of this shit out. I leave a lot of this dry matter, and the reason why I'm doing it is because these cylinders, these are the center of what you get with these industrial spools, and they're tall. And for those of you that don't have a ton of dirt, you know, you don't want to waste all the dirt filling it all the way up to the bottom. Plus, I want my good worms that are from down there to come up and want to hang out in here and eventually colonize and make a really good soil for me, right? Now, as you can see, there's a lot of twigs and branches here, so there's a lot of air, right? A lot of air pockets and what have you. A lot of freaking bugs, too. Jesus. They're gonna go in my mouth. It's what I get for always running it. Anyway, a lot of air pockets, right? Which is good. You don't want to pack it down. When it's all dry, eventually, one of these years, it'll compost down. And this, before we put the camera back on the stand and I get to work, is what I brought out of my kitchen. Looks freaking nasty, doesn't it? What do we got here? Wilted lettuce, brown bananas, rotten bananas, shriveled up grapes. Oh, they kind of remind me of, what's her name? Faplosi. Rhymes with Faplosi. Falosi? No, I'm just joking. Alright, rotten papaya. Underneath here, though, I have a bunch of chopped up, like, rotten cantaloupe, persimmons, broccoli, and there's a ton of coffee grinds on the bottom. Anyway, it's all the stuff, like, you know, sometimes in the bottom of your drawer. That's hominy, by the way. You know, and instead of throwing it out, I just toss it in here and I chop it up. And the reason why now is because we're going to take a few shovels full of that. I'm going to put a few shovels of dirt, and then I'm going to take half of that tray and I'm going to throw it on top of those few shovels of dirt, and then I'm going to cover that with the rest of the dirt, and then we're going to plant on top of it. Maybe I should have actually put a few more leaves in there. I took a few too many out. Anyway, and the reason why I do that too is because there are little gaps in here and stuff like that. I want the worms to be able to come up and be happy, but I don't want rodents and things like that. I mean, they usually don't bother with the vegetables to get in there. So, over top of the dry stuff, I put just a little bit of dirt, just enough to make everybody happy, and then the rotten stuff, wilted, whatever, etc., goes in there. And the other cool thing about that right now, too, is we're having all these cold snaps in Florida, and it's cool. Well, this is still organic matter that's green. It's not brown. You know, the green-brown thing when you're doing your compost shenanigans. And when that starts breaking down in here, it generates heat. And so these worms that are hanging out, they're going to want to come here, you know. Because when it's cold, it's like, wow, there's food there. It's a little warm, and everything's awesome. And actually, when you're doing this that way, I can colonize a lot more worms. I've experimented with this before. It works like a charm. And it works a lot better in the winter time in Florida here than it does in the summer, even though we don't really have a winter. But I won't rub that in. So, my baby Taro. It's actually not a baby. The iguanas keep eating the freaking leaves, and it keeps having to pop leaves back up again. So, he's kind of not a baby, but he is, because his leaves aren't very big. On a good note, I haven't seen many iguanas lately. I shot so many, maybe they went to another property. Alright, now, so this is going to be a teeny bit boring. I'm going to, pile some leaves up in here for you guys. Uh-oh. Just had a lizard jump on me. And you'll see what I do. And then I'll tell you what's in that bucket. So, hopefully you can see me and the camera doesn't shift too much, or Jake doesn't jump into the bucket that it's sitting on right now. And I'm going to stick my gloves on, and we're going to get busy. Alright, stepping all over the milkweed, poor thing. I'm sorry, buddy. Mom's got to work here. You got to get out of my way, dude. Alright, so I'm going to take, actually I'm going to take a few of these and put them back in again, because I took just a few out. You want it like halfway, you know. I'm gonna tell you after it's full what else I'm actually gonna do with this thing, because it's wood. I'm gonna put stuff around the outside. My plan is I'm gonna put quite a few peppers and tomatoes in here, which actually do grow deep roots. But by the time they go to the deep roots, a lot of this is gonna be broken down. So. And they're protected, because we have a lot of vermin in Florida that want to eat your stuff. And I'll show you how I'm going to protect that. Let me make sure this isn't too far down. No, we're good. Okay, so I'm going to take my bucket out. Throw my shovel in here. I'm going to do just, hopefully you can see that. It's a pretty decent size shovel there. I'm going to do, let me see here, probably about 2 of these. Yep. There we go. About 2 of these. So I got a decent layer that just covered up all that dry. And then I got my little roasted rake here. Hey, Jake. And I'm going to take some of this nasty food scraps and I'm going to rake it right in here. It's so disgusting. Not for the worms. So that's a good layer of worm food right there. And I rake a few more in there. Some of the coffee grinds, they like those too. Don't be shy, you know, it all breaks down. Oh yeah, I noticed that. I got eggshells in there too, because Gary eats eggs. That's nasty, Jake. That's not food, bro. Alright, so Now I put all the rotten crap in there. Would you guys get out of my way? I don't want to step on it. Alright. Move it. So after I do that, I'm going to take a few of these loose leaves, pile them back on again. There we go. Thing is, it may look full, but these things compress down when you throw dirt on it, you know what I mean? So, you just have to experiment a little bit. And you know, you don't have to use one of these. You can, you can use anything, really. Break up your property, throw the crap in there, whatever. It'll all break down eventually. But it's a good way to recycle stuff. And by the way, this becomes dirt. It's how dirt's made, man. Like under the avocado tree when we moved in, there was probably, oh my God, several feet of dried up palm fronds and leaves and stuff like this because nobody ever cleaned out. But I'll tell you what, the soil underneath was awesome. It was black, full of worms, because it's always covered. Remember, I told you all that. Now, we're going to take some more shovels of dirt. Throw it in here. Now, because I know I'm putting tomatoes in here, I'm not going to fill the dirt all the way to the top. And the reason why is because the tomatoes I put in here are going to be a little leggy, because you put little seedlings down near the wall, creates a little bit of a shadow, and they want to reach for the sun, and when they do, they have a tendency to get a little leggy. But my secret is, when they do get a teeny bit leggy, I go back and I put more dirt and cover them up to their neck. As long as there's no leaves, clip the leaves off the bottom first, even if they're really tiny. Cover them up to their neck, and you're going to force them to have more and more roots and go deeper and stronger, and it's going to give you an amazing amount of tomatoes as opposed to just putting it in there and letting it go. So that's why I don't fill this all the way up, because right now the dirt is about up to here. Alright? So I'm going to go a little bit more with a couple more shovels. And like I said, when I put the tomatoes in, they're going to be right about there. But because the stem still is kind of shaded because of this area here, they will get leggy trying to get up above this wall here to look for sun. And when they do, it'll take about a week, maybe 9 or 10 days at the most. It goes quick. I go back in and I gently cover them all the way up to their neck with soil. It's almost like when you're hilling potatoes, but I don't really do that all that often. You know what I'm saying. So anyway, I talk too much. All right. I know who's laughing. You all know that. Yeah, she does talk too much. Put a few more shovels in here. There we go. And there we go. Right, I'm going to do one little more one for good measure here. Alright. Now, the other thing I actually put in here, all that crap you see piled up on my patio, the leftover avocado dried up brown leaves that I haven't used for tea and all that. I have a fire pit, and I've actually been taking the junk mail, the newspapers, magazines and all that, in conjunction with the dried up brown leaves, and I've been burning it. So I took a little bit here that I stored up, and I do my mom's old trick. We used to do this up in Jersey. Throw some ashes in here. Now mix it in the soil a little bit. Mix it up good. That's great. Got a nice little gray soil there. You don't want to overdo ash, but my mom sprinkled our ashes on the garden all the time, and we always had great success. That combined with horse shit. Tomatoes love horse shit. So, there you have it, see? It's a little bit gray. Got good layers here. I have to fill this in. And, the little seedlings go right in here. Now, you can do this with anything. So what I'm doing next is, I had a canopy. That was a pop-up canopy. That was crap. Right? And I took the whole thing apart. I saved the hardware, the beams, I threw the material out. And what I'm doing with those, they're tall, skinny poles. And I'm taking them and I'm screwing them around the cylinder here. I'm just recycling junk that I have. So I'm screwing them in here. It only takes a few minutes. And what happens is, I can either use them to prop the tomatoes up with when they get bigger, or I can put beans around here or what have you, something that climbs, or peas, and they can grab onto the pole and they'll shelter the tomatoes a little bit. Alternatively, if you've got pest problems, you could also screw in little things here, like the pole will make them taller, and then you can put netting around it for, you know, protecting it from bugs, varmints, and or, you know, if it gets a little chilly like it does here. And that's what I plan on doing. I'm not putting anything around the outside. I'm putting poles up here so that if we do get a cold snap, and I'm doing it around all of them, I can actually take some of the canvas I recovered and I put it around it, and it's protected for the night, like when it hits the 40s and 50s, which it doesn't do often, but we've been having some weird weather lately. So there's a ton of different things you can do with this, you know. And then alternatively, if you guys use stuff like this and you put little seedlings in here or whatever that you don't want stuff to come in and eat, you can just cover it with a plate until it gets, you know, overnight or whatever, so it doesn't get eaten. Take it off during the day, anything like that. So keep pests out, keep it warm, whatever. You know, in the summer, keep all the crazy little white flies out, or there's so many things you can do with these. That's why I love them, because they're wood, they're sturdy. They're pine, I can screw right into them. So I did the best I could with all the stuff I had to recycle when I put these things together. And of course that one I took apart and made a box out of them. And I'm about to do in that box what I just did with this one, what I showed you. So that's that. Part 1 for today. Ow, I almost busted my ass. Alright, see, I made a pathway out of my bird of paradise leaves, and it chopped some more down. These suckers are huge. It's a good pathway though. You can walk on it barefoot. It's pretty awesome. So my recycled palm fronds I use for pathways so the weeds don't grow up. And the passion fruit's having fun. Look, right before the cold snap I trellised it up the arch. This is going to be completely green in another month. As long as we get good hot weather, you won't even be able to recognize it. It's awesome. So anyway, that's part 1 for today. Say hi to everybody, Mr. Elderberry. He's so cute. I love him. He tries so hard for mommy. He's a good guy, man. All right. That's part 1 for today. I wanted to show you what I did with the cylinders. Works like magic, guys, because the thing is, that food that you put in there will feed the soil. Those worms will be coming within 24 hours. It's going to start being warm. And we're going to be able to grow a lot of good food in there, you know. And these things are pine. They'll last decent amount of time for you to grow some good food. You know, I said I wouldn't do raised beds. Oh, you know me, I grow in the ground. But, you know, I have a bum foot too. And I've got an iguana problem. So, I have to do it that way just for a few to recycle my things. And just have a little bit of an alternative. And I can grow all around those things, no problem. And here's what I've been burning. My leftover greens that are brown that I wasn't using. And I'm not throwing them out. I'm not dumping them on the street. These are all going in the fire pit because they burn beautifully and make me some good ash for the garden. Pretty cool stuff. Throw it everywhere. It's good for your grass too. A little bit here and there, you know what I mean? Not too much. There are very few plants that don't like it, so you gotta kind of do your research and all that, but it helps. It's nice. You know, there's a reason why when these forests burn down like these crazy fires they have in California, you'd be surprised how fast nature comes back, you know? It's got its place in life. Fire, ash, plants love it. So, alright, part 1, well, the first one of today. I'm going to come back in a little bit, and I'm going to show you in my tub what I did with that avocado. You got the Katuks got berries here. It's the 3rd time this thing's buried for me. Most people don't get to see berries on their Katuk plants. This is a vegetable spinach replacement. Insanely good for you too. Yeah. And he's big. He's all the way up to my gutter. I had to string him up. They kept falling over. They're very susceptible to wind damage because they're wimpy. And the birds are always hanging out in here and eating my berries. And all the bok choy went in there yesterday. Not all of it. Some of it's in the front yard. Alright, anyway. I know you're getting bored by now, so... Alright, do stuff with Nikki out. And I'm going to be back in a couple hours. And I'll show you the rooting thing that I did. There's the anorexic avocado. Looks like something out of a Beavis and Butthead show, doesn't it? Freaking thing looks so sad. He'll be alright. Oh my god. Alright, Nikki out. Look at this dog. This is why I have weeds everywhere. Yeah, show him your weeds, Jake. Go ahead, show him your weeds. And zoom out. This is the weed carrier here. Show him your weeds. All over his hair. All over his legs. Come here. Come here. Fuck face. Alright, there we go. They're everywhere. Spreading the love. Alright. Love you guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye.